Hello, welcome to a brand new episode of Look Forward. I'm your host, Jay. I'm here with my co-host, Brad.
You think they could save a little bit of this shit for like year two, maybe? Like you don't have to fucking speed run the entire administration in 1 month, right? Like,
well, if you think that you're gonna fucking get tossed out on your ass at some point here, or maybe something else, yeah, you might as well do it now. This is officially, I guess, we are at the end of week 2. I said to you and Andy in our private chat, week 1, hate-fueled chaos. Week 2, white man tantrums. Or I should, an addendum to that, like white man useless tantrums. Also sprinkle in hateful chaos. Yeah, hell of a run this week. We're now getting into the like, why are we doing all of this? And it's becoming very clear, and we'll talk about that.
Yeah, and I want to point out for the record that we've been saying for years on this show that people, as a populace, not like a person, but like the people,
yes,
don't like significant changes happening in very fast order. Now, we've typically said it in regards to like rolling out like a public option.
Yeah,
or like Medicare for all, right? Like
right.
The reason why you have to do it incrementally is because if you fucking rip it off like a fucking Band-Aid, people are going to freak the fuck out, right? And what you're seeing this past week is a great example of why people don't like significant change happening all at the same time, especially when all of it's happening at once and it's extremely chaotic, which is part of the point. And people are fucking losing it. Like I haven't seen so many MAGA people like flip in such a short amount of time as I'm seeing online right now.
Yes, I would agree. But I would also say, and look, I'm not in the physical US, so I'm not, I don't see sort of the day-to-day shit that you see, obviously. I just more see people's reactions online, which is a biased take, I'll admit, right? Because of the places I go and things like that. So people tend to be more leaning in my perspective. So, but what I will say is this. The media has a tremendous amount to do with how the public sees things, right? I don't think people are nearly as angry as they should be about what's happening because I don't think these things are being reported on nearly as extensively and as accurately as they are, right? Like, or as serious as those things are. Musk.
It's kind of the problem when you insist on using like the softest language possible,
right,
to describe these things. And it starts at the headline, and they do this in an effort to quote remain fair and balanced. But like when if a nuclear bomb were to drop on the country, you wouldn't describe it as like, oh, like massive explosion happened. No, it's a fucking nuclear bomb. Like that's what you put in the fucking head.
Yeah, say that shit.
Yeah. Now, to the credit of, and we've been banging this drum for the last several weeks and months, independent media gets it.
Yes.
And they're reporting on this stuff with the urgency and the severity
right
that it deserves. So again, if you're subscribing currently to like a big corporate owned media publication, I would recommend that you take that money instead and give it to The Verge, or give it to Talking Points Memo, or give it to ProPublica, or give it to who did I see that basically scooped everybody to this USAID story, an independent journalist did, and I bookmarked her feed because I'm planning on subscribing to her.
Is it a Substack?
Because no, it's not a Substack. It's actually a different website. Fuck, why can't I find her name? That's going to really bug me.
Smooth, Brad.
I think her name is Maria Cabas, I believe is
all right, well, when you find it, let us know. Look, this week is what I would argue is what I mentioned a little bit earlier, which is there is a real indication as to why things are happening the way that they're happening. Last week I mentioned that I thought Trump was.
By the way, Marissa Kabas is her name, and her website is called The Handbasket. That's what that's called.
The Handbasket. Okay,
check that out. She's doing excellent on the ground work right now.
Okay, look, what's actually really nice is that in moments like this, it's hard to see this in like when you're in the shit, but this is where you get to find the real journalists, right? You get to find the people where you're like, oh shit, like this person is actually not just a fancy paid actor to be on TV. These are the people actually doing the real shoe leather journalism, and people become quite famous in these moments, right? Keep an eye on that, right? Because it's easy to miss that because there's so much shit. But when you start to go, oh, this person from the Handbasket is like fucking nailing it, pay attention to that person and start really following them. Give them money if you can, right? Like support them, support us as well. Shameless.
Yes, we are also independent, not journalists, but
yeah,
but still,
we are part of independent media, whatever the fuck that is anymore, right? So we're broke. Okay, we need your help. So like that being said, it's good to pay attention to those people and financially help them when you can, because those type of people, if you can boost them up, more people will listen to them, and hopefully they will keep that level of integrity and keep doing great work. Mehdi Hassan being a perfect example of that. That dude has never met a truth he has not loved to exploit, to dunk on people publicly, which I love, right? Like he is just a person, if he's got the information, if it's out there, he's going to fucking use it, and he's going to use it in the right ways. So he's a person to support. So all of that being said, last week I mentioned the idea of Trump sort of setting the U.S. up for slaughter is what it felt like to me. And I was more, I'll be honest with you, I was more thinking from like an international perspective, which is also, I think, still true. But I think, as a lot of people have been pointing out this week, I think my eye was not on where it probably should have been, which is crashing the American economy helps one group more than any. And it helps people who are incredibly rich because they get to buy up all of the shit at bargain basement prices, right? We have seen this happen in every recession in the United States. And these sort of what we would refer to as the oligarchy, right? Like these mega rich, billionaire tech bros and all this other shit. They get to basically buy up the country for fucking pennies on the dollar when it all goes.
And not only that,
no pun intended about the handbasket.
Not only that, but I saw an interview with a guy called Justin Walters today, or at least a segment of it, and this was a concept that I had internalized, but I hadn't like formed the idea around. And then when he said it, I was like, oh, like that's more people should be describing it like this, because it's not that way. Like, do you understand the reason why Trump and the people around Trump would like to, if they had their druthers, move this system from a tax-based and income tax-based system to a tariff-based system? Is because who carries the bigger burden with income taxes?
The middle class.
No, rich people. I mean, as far as like a fucking dollars and cents burden, rich people do, because if you're talking about percentage of income, they have a higher net burden. But who bears the burden of tariffs? Middle and lower class people, because we're the ones that actually buy shit,
right? That
tariffs impact. So that was the thing that happened. But I think, Jay, the reason why you didn't see where the puck was going, if I could borrow a hockey term,
God,
appropriately so with this week,
enough of this,
is because it didn't occur to me, and it didn't occur to anybody else, that they would the stormtroopers would literally walk into the doors of the center of control financially, essentially, and kind of just take the building over like the terrorists in Die Hard at the beginning of that film.
Yeah, quite literally. And there's always been a sense of, to that point, there's always been a sense of, all right, there's like corrupt wolves at the door, right? But whether or not the president agrees with said wolves is kind of irrelevant because they don't leave the fucking door open, man. Like, there's still people working inside the government who are like, oh, you're trying to do this thing? Yeah, we're not going to do that. That's insane, right? And you could try to knock out the political appointees or something like that and try to worm your way in maybe a little bit into those positions. But at the end of the day, you still can't get to the core of what the government is. Like, and I know what that sounds like, right? That sounds like what the right describes, which is the deep state. Well, the deep state is just people doing their job, right?
Right.
They're actually
it's just the gears of bureaucracy turning.
Right. Like, wait, did you know there's people working to keep this system alive? Yeah. They're literally paid to do that. Like, that's not wrong. You just disagree with said system. That's a different conversation altogether. But it's mostly like, I just want to get rid of this so I can profit from it. But yeah, this is the first time the wolves have been at the door and the president isn't just like, well, I agree with the wolves and like, I will allow them to keep like trying to bang at the door type of thing. Instead, he's just like opens the door and then goes golfing. And by the way, he closes the building and says, no one else can be in this building while the wolves come in, right? That's where we are now. And that's a very different situation than we've ever seen before. So when I hear people say, this, we've been here before, we did 4 years of this, this is not the same. Yeah. This is not the same because what you're talking about now is a situation where before it was a goofball group of jackasses like, we're going to run the government. And they fucked everything up because they were fools. The wolves were paying attention. And they said, well, if we get this asshole in power again, all the goofballs are gone. We can fill in all of those positions because he's not going to have anybody who wants to run with him. We got this 900-page plan that we wrote out. Those motherfuckers have been working. They're smart, okay? They're very smart, and they understand what they needed to do.
Some of them are smart. And even the smart ones aren't incredibly smart. Okay. They're still going about this in a very ham-fisted fashion.
Oh, 100%. 100%. Yeah. But that just quickly, that has more to do with a hot hand theory, right? Like, we've never paid consequences before. Surely we'll never pay consequences in the future. I feel like that's probably a bad idea, but like, that's just me. I live on Earth, but okay. Like, you know what? Just keep going. But I digress. But my point here is we have never had a situation where these guys have been able to just quite literally walk in the door and not be told to stop. And so you got to, like, one of the big things that people have got to stop doing, you got to stop comparing this to 4 years ago. This is not 4 years ago. This isn't 4 years ago. This isn't 8 years ago. This isn't 100 years ago. We've never been here. We've never been here. And I hate to fucking say this, but I really don't. That's why the solutions to this are not the solutions of the past. They're not. They're simply not. They cannot be, right? Extreme moments require extreme responses. They fucking do. And I'm not advocating for anything. I'm just telling you there are only two ways things like this end. You accept it and it's just like, well, this is the new normal and we're fucked. Or people go, enough of this. And they respond in kind. Again, I'm not advocating anything. What I'm telling you is I know people. Right? Like that's all I can tell you is I know people. So there's just two options. That's just it.
Yeah.
This is the reality.
Here's what I'll tell you. When the person in the back of the field throws the blue shell, it does have to go through the entire field before it gets to the person that's leading the race. So you have to make sure you get out of the way so you don't get hit by the blue shell as it's coming up.
Yeah.
So that's all. That's what I'm saying. So let's talk about what we're talking about. And it's important to realize that as we talk about this on Monday, February 3rd, we still don't know exactly what Elon Musk and his cadre of 19-year-old college kids,
fucking incels,
are doing specifically, because not a lot of information is coming out, and they're not letting anybody in to see what's going on. Right. So on Friday night, Musk and his goons went to the Treasury Department. Now, it's important to note that he had been arguing with a career official at the Treasury Department named David Liebrick to get access to the sensitive payment system that Treasury controls. And for people that don't know what sensitive payment does, basically it's like the database that has all of the information for federal employees, including like bank information, social security information, all that stuff. Yeah. And it's also the payment system that basically hands out Medicare payments and social security payments and Medicaid payments and things that are and grants and loans and all that. But basically it is the nexus of how money in the federal government is distributed to people that get money from the federal government.
Yes.
Okay.
Including money to agencies, by the way. That's
correct.
Also here.
So Musk tries to get this guy like, hey, I want my team to have access to the system. This guy says, go fuck yourself. And I guess, eat shit. And I guess because he would have gotten Trump after him, this guy's like, you know what, fuck this. I'm out. Like, I'm just retiring. I'm not dealing with this shit. Right. So he leaves. And then Friday night, they just come into the building, allegedly like with hard drives. No one knows what the fucking hard drives are being used for, and get unfettered access to all of these systems and then start locking out Treasury Department employees from being able to access these systems, which is incredibly concerning when you're talking about literally the fucking central point of how payments and how money is distributed in the federal government, including for healthcare and people's income from the government that's needed to live.
And by the way, also all of your social security information, which Elon Musk, as I don't know why it needs to be said more than once, but I'll keep saying it every single fucking story, is not a federal government employee. He was not elected.
No, he's not a federal government employee. He's not an elected official.
He's
none of the people that are with him are elected officials or federal government employees. Like, these are private citizens who have been allowed to enter the halls of government and do we don't know what right now.
So what about HIPAA violations? Because I feel like every one of these motherfuckers should absolutely be sued for HIPAA violations, which I think is $1,000 or $10,000 per violation. I think they should be sued for 330 million different lawsuits to each person who did this. 100% sue them into the fucking ground. Because guess what? Money is the only thing that asshole understands. Look, those broccoli-haired dork bags, they don't know what the fuck is going on. Like, they don't have the money. Musk does. I would love to see him put in jail or otherwise. And every bit of his money taken and redistributed into the United States Treasury. Every bit of it. Because that is, besides other ways, that is the only way this guy is going to learn anything. Right? I don't take this shit lightly. And again, this is one of those stories. This is the nuclear bomb story, right? That you intimated earlier, right? This is Elon Musk has performed a coup should be the fucking headline across the New York Times, the Washington Post, fucking LA Times, all of them, Miami Herald, every major newspaper, every newspaper in the country, that should be the banner across the front. Is it? Let's go to the New York Times right now and see what the fucking headline is. Because I bet it's something fucking stupid and irrelevant. Like, who won the Grammys, right? Okay, New York Times, Musk anti-government blitz shakes Washington. That's not hard enough. That's not hard enough.
And that's hard for them.
That's hard for them.
By the way.
But that's not hard enough.
And it took them until today. It took them until today to get there.
Yeah. Meanwhile, the Washington
Post. This has been going on all weekend.
Right. Meanwhile, the Washington Post is like, hey, wine might get a little expensive here because of the tariffs. Who gives a fuck? Who gives a fuck? Hey, you know what you should care about? Look, I get it. The price of eggs is like fucking $7 a dozen, which I heard the other day, which I could not believe.
It's up to $9 now, buddy.
That's fucking insane. By the way, I paid $4.30 for 30 eggs today. Anyway, apropos of nothing, real estate, very inexpensive here. This is not hard enough from the New York Times. Like they've got an opinion piece on the Washington Post, like to the side about it, about USAID. You know what's really fucking important? When your grandmother doesn't get her fucking Social Security check in 2 months. That's going to be really important. And I know, maybe with MAGA they'll wake up or whatever, and everyone's like, they're not. I'll tell you this. Those Social Security checks stop coming. There ain't no conversation to be had. Motherfuckers are going to be pissed. I don't care what part of the spectrum politically you're on. I just don't give a fuck. You can't be like, well, I get it. Like, grandma, you eating cat food for a week. Not even cat food. Cheap ass tuna, right? Fancy feast is more than you can afford. So, by all means, keep fucking going. Again, this hot hand theory that you think that you're never going to pay for fucking doing dirty shit to people, I don't know how long you think this is going to last. There's a barrier all around the White House, by the way. I don't know if you know that, right? There's a barrier all the way around the White House now. Okay. You better stay in there. Dude, I'm telling you, you better stay in there. I wouldn't be going golfing if I were you. Because if this motherfucker decides that he's going to... Look, he basically said, USAID, what money? What money? Right?
Oh, that let's talk about that, because that was the first like big domino to fall over the weekend. So basically, Elon Musk, one of the things he did is he gets on Twitter over the weekend and is like, we've ended USAID. And for those that don't know what USAID is, it's the U.S. Agency for International Development. Basically, it's like the U.S. humanitarian project agency. That is literally what USAID does. Yeah. And USAID has always been something that's kept under heavy lock and key, because it involves like sometimes like projects that are not like publicly consumed because they have to work in areas that are, dangerous or in difficult situations.
I have a friend who works at
USAID. Right. Yeah. And that's what this organization does. Now, interestingly, USAID was also the organization who was the driving force in assisting South African apartheid fighters with U.S. funding back during the late 80s. In case you wanted to wrinkle into that story.
Gee, I wonder why he may not.
Yeah, as to why Elon Musk might not care for it, and why all of a sudden Donald Trump is out here saying, "Oh, we're going to pull economic support for South Africa due to quote illegal land grabs," whatever the fuck that's supposed to mean.
Oh, grabbing land back from white people who stole it. Is that what we're talking about? Curious. How dare
So he says USAID is done. I will point out that since it is a actual government department, you can't just end USAID without an act of Congress. Basically, like Congress set it up, Congress has to be the one to take it down. I checked.
Well, here's the thing. What are rules anyway, really, Brad?
Yeah,
mere suggestion.
Well. And here's another fucking interesting factoid. One of the other reasons why USAID is kept under such tight security and under such tight wraps is because also USAID is used as a kind of a cover, a front, if you will, for overseas intelligence operations that the United States carries out, that they use to get agents into countries that they might not normally be able to get into in order to conduct intelligence. So if you fucking just start blasting the shit out there, all of a sudden sources and methods might be compromised. You might literally be compromising agents that are literally in the field right now.
Of course.
Based on this stuff.
Now, Brad, I would ask you, what do you think? I'm curious to see if you know this. Do you know what the USAID budget is, the yearly budget, roughly?
I would bet that it's probably not as much as people think it would be. I would bet it's not even in the billions.
It is in the billions.
It is in the billions. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's less than Elon Musk has. I'll just say that. So not that much. USAID in 2020, their budget was $25 billion.
Okay.
This is money that, again, in a lot of ways is used. And look, I think the people at USAID do very good work. Again, I have a friend who works for them. She is a very, very accomplished person. And she goes into some places that really do need help and does really amazing work. That being said, USAID is 100% a, hey, you know how we bomb a lot of countries? Here's our like, sorry about that. We're going to, on the back end, we do a lot of help to countries too. This is soft power, right? Mm-hmm. We need to focus on soft power. This is what is America's real strength. You know who doesn't have to use real hard power anymore? China. Because they're just like, we'll just go and, like, what do you want? You want a library? You want us to build you a water irrigation system? No problem.
You want a bridge? You want us to install a whole power grid? You got it.
Yeah.
What's money to us?
Yeah, what's money to us? And by the way, thanks for letting us do that. Now, maybe, just maybe, if you'd like to do a little bit of trade, like if we could get a couple of these like rare earth metals, like it's not a big deal. It's not a big deal. Did you like the bridge? Did you like the bridge? You want another one? It's cool. And then they're like, oh yeah, sure, it's cool. Cool, China. That's what they're doing in Africa, by the way. That's what they're doing there. They're using soft power to take minerals out of that fucking continent that has been raped by every fucking body on the planet on some level or another, but they're not going in and trying to destroy people. They're actually using what you should as a big fucking monster fucking country is to go, hey, we can offer you these things and we can help you.
And by the way, to prop up and advance their society.
Yeah. Instead of just going, we're just going to bomb you until you love us. Well, that doesn't really work, does it? So yeah, USAID is 100% a, hey, we're not always being giant pieces of shit on the foreign stage, okay? Like, we do good work. And they do. To take this away is that like really weird sort of juvenile way of looking at like American politics or foreign policy at all, which is we don't need to spend any money anywhere ever. Fuck those people. We need to spend it at home. Okay, but you guys don't spend it on people at home either. Right. Like, cool. You don't want to spend any money. You want to close USAID? Cool. $25 billion a year. Let's say it stayed there roughly. Let's say it's gotten up to $30 billion, right? All right, cool. $30 billion. Now you pull $30 billion back. What do you want to do with it? As conservatives.
Could end the homeless crisis in the country.
You could.
Good.
You could. So why don't you do that? Well, we're really busy this weekend. Yeah, you're not going to use it for anything. And they'll pay lip service to it and do absolutely nothing with it. What they'll do is they'll figure out a way to put it into the pockets of a bunch of rich people. That's what they'll do. Yep. Let's cut taxes.
That's how it always goes. Yeah. And again, like it's just like, and so this happens, right? And so one of Musk's like 19-year-old idiots sends an email to like all the employees of USAID being like, don't bother coming to work. You guys are done. Like we're letting everybody go. Like we're just shutting down, closing the agency, all that jazz. Just out of the blue, out of fucking nowhere. Fortunately, it seems like the people that work there are not just following that line of guidance.
Who the fuck is this guy?
Good. Right. Yeah. But yeah, this is a serious fucking problem. This is a serious fucking issue. And Trump did like a press con. By the way, as Democratic lawmakers went down to USAID today and were demanding to get access to the building and basically doing like a press gaggle in front of the building with protesters and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. All the mass media was covering the Trump press conference from the Oval Office that he ran, because good job, media, you fucking idiots. And basically they asked Trump, like, hey, like, you can't just shut down USAID. And he's like, well, yes, we can, because there's fraud. So that means
there's fraud. Yeah. Dude, you're just saying words. You're just saying words. There's fraud. What fraud? The DEI? I don't know. Blacks, Latin, trans? Can we go with trans? I don't know. Can we just say words to trigger you into not paying attention to what we're talking about? There's fraud.
Just
what fraud?
So and again, I just want to point out, just contrasting a couple of opinions, right? Biden using his power to relieve federal student loans, executive overreach, Congress has to approve. Trump wants to shut down an entire federal agency without the approval of Congress. Oh, it's fine. No problem. No big deal. Like Republicans are just laughingly inconsistent when it comes to shit.
100.
And it would be funny if it wasn't so fucking scary.
Just
about
fucking
this shit.
tragic. Just tragic.
Yeah.
I love that. There's fraud. What fraud? Dude, I don't know. Like, why are you asking me? Like, I just said this shit. Yeah. They don't have anything. They don't have anything.
They literally just say shit. And here's the thing. And I'm not saying that Trump would change his mind if he did know, but he doesn't have a fucking clue what Musk is doing right now. Doesn't have a clue. Like all he's doing is like repeating stuff like that Musk is telling him, but he doesn't actually understand it. So like you get that like I didn't actually read the book before I wrote the book report version of Trump who just fucking says shit that he thinks makes sense in context, but it really fucking doesn't. He's just saying words. Like he has no fucking. He's on the golf course. Like that's literally all he's fucking doing. That's what he cares about. He's like, oh, do I need to get involved with this? No, I can go golfing. Cool. Do whatever you want, Elon. I'm sure that everything you're
very smart. You're very smart. You're a fucking nerd. Again, it's a very weird stance to take. Of I'm just going to let this guy be the fucking president while I do nothing.
Yeah. Musk has also said that he is. Musk has also said that he is stopping payments on all government contracts right now, which seems like a really fucking bad idea. He also went in and according to him, just deleted the IRS free filing system that they instituted a couple of years ago, so that you can't quickly and easily file your taxes now. Apparently, you have to go
and by the way,
preparation software.
Yeah, and by the way, one that pisses me off because Elizabeth Warren came out with that, and again, she should have been fucking president, you fucking idiots. Two, who is this for? Right? Like this is obviously for H&R Block.
It's so populist, Jay. It's so populist to get rid of the free tax.
Hey, man, why don't we just fuck over people for filing their taxes for free? Yeah, you don't need that. Why? What's your argument? Right? This is the same. Like, I wish in these press conferences, I know it was a super obvious thing for people to press Trump on the like, hey, why are you saying like that the plane crash happened because of DEI, you fucking racist shitbag, right? And he's like, because I have common sense. No, you don't, but okay. But here's a question that you could have fucking asked him that actually mattered. You got rid of the cap on in Medicare and Medicaid for prescription drug prices. Your person said that they got rid of it because it was radical and unpopular. What is radical and unpopular about having insulin priced at $35 versus $400? What's radical about that? What was unpopular? Who told you it was unpopular? Hold his fucking dumb, bone-spurred feet to the fire for fucking once. Is he going to give you a bullshit answer? Yes, but at least ask the fucking question. The guy took away your Nana's fucking cheap insulin. Where are you? Where's conservatives on this shit?
You know who ironically, since you mentioned it,
cowards.
And we'll talk about the plane crash later, of course. You know who ironically asked a really good question about the plane crash?
OAN?
No, close.
It wasn't like Breitbart or some shit like that?
No, Peter Doocy actually accidentally asked a really good question because Trump was going on and on. Oh, it's DEI's fault. And Peter Doocy asked, oh, so like, are you saying it's not safe to fly right now because of issues with DEI with planes? And Trump's like, well, yeah, I didn't say.
Oh,
I didn't say
that's
it's safe to fly.
yeah, you got to fucking moonwalk your ass right into a fucking tragedy.
Right.
Lord.
Yeah. So like I said, blind squirrel finds nut. Yeah, blind squirrel finds
stock prices go fucking to dog shit. Don't fly, says president. The blacks are in the cockpit.
So like I said, mass chaos, mass confusion. We still don't know exactly what the fuck is going on.
Yeah.
However, it took 2.5 weeks, Jay. But Democrats are finally starting to wake the fuck up.
Here we go. Look,
can you please read as I have it in the docket for this next story?
Is it pronounced how I assume?
Yes, it is pronounced how you...
Okay. I am not going to read it. I refuse to read it. However, because I thought this is what you meant, I queued it up. I queued it up.
Oh, so, excellent. Fantastic.
Yeah. So hopefully this works the way I want it to. This is the title for the the story that Brad is putting up. There you go. I love that song. So yeah, man, this is look, this is Democrats doing the right thing. Brian Schatz to block Trump nominees over USAID move. This is what I'm talking about. This I like. I like this.
Yeah. So let's be super clear about this. So Democrats obviously do not have control of the Senate. It's not a filibuster proof majority that Republicans have, but they have a majority. They don't have control in the House. They don't get to dictate what's get brought up. They can't stop Trump nominees from, getting approved essentially. However, there are still things you can do to make things as painful as possible for Republicans. And over the weekend, people were screaming at Democrats to be like, hey, like, can you start using some of the power that's granted in the rules of the fucking body that you're in, kind of like Tommy Tuberville did last year when he single-handedly shut down military promotions for like 9 months.
Yep.
Or like Mitch McConnell did for the entire Obama administration, grinding things to as slow a process as fucking possible. And Brian Schatz was the first guy that fucking stepped up. Chuck Schumer's out here fucking tweeting through it, talking about like, oh, like, when your pizza costs more for the Super Bowl, who to blame is Donald Trump. Like that's what Chuck Schumer's out here doing.
That means nothing. Waiting for Donald Trump to fuck up is not a strategy. He's a fuck up on every day, dude. That's not a strategy.
Yeah.
Come on.
But Brian Schatz was the first guy to finally get it and get out there. So he has said that in response to the USAID issues, that he is planning on obstructing and blocking Trump's nominees as much as possible, as much as he can. So typically what happens in the Senate when a nominee is advanced through committee is to put the nominee up for debate on the whole Senate floor. They ask for a process called unanimous consent, where basically they say like, hey, we're going to put this nominee up to talk about it. Does everyone consent? And usually everyone says yes, because that's just the formality of doing business in the Senate. Like, we know the nominee is going to come up, and then you have the debate and you vote on it and all that jazz. It's a time-saving mechanism for the Senate, because if you did not have unanimous consent for these things, then it would take hours of floor time to even get the nominee brought up to be considered, because you have to vote on that if you don't have unanimous consent. So Brian Schatz said, now the cool thing about unanimous consent, or the worst thing, depending on your perspective and who's in power at the time, is that literally one senator can withhold their consent and completely fucking torpedo it.
That's right.
And Brian Schatz has said he is going to do that, making sure that Republicans have to waste as much time as they possibly can to get these nominees confirmed. Now, it's not going to stop them from being confirmed, but it is going to slow things down significantly as far as getting these people through and into position, which is exactly what you fucking need to do. And Chris Van Hollen came out also today, one of my senators, and said he was going to, support Schatz and do the same thing essentially. And some of the people that fucking get it are starting to come alive. And Van Hollen's been good on this shit. Like, he's been very vociferous for the last couple weeks. He's been out there like crazy. Weirdly, like all the Maryland reps, like Jamie Raskin's been out there like crazy. All the people you would expect to be there.
Know why? You know why though? I'll be honest. Look, I'm a Marylander, right? So I got a soft spot for these guys. But look, here's the reason: they're from a blue state. They're from a reliable blue state, but they're from a very blue collar blue state. That's the difference, right? Like California Dems, don't get me wrong. I love y'all, like, no doubt. But a lot of what is at least seen of California is not seen as a blue collar state. Like, it's just not, right? It's it's not fair, but it's more like, oh, latte sipping fucking liberals, right? Like, that's just how it's seen, right? I'm not saying that's true, right? Obviously, there are people doing blue collar work in California. It's a big fucking state. But Maryland is very much seen as a blue collar state. And there's just a different aspect of like let's fucking fight back. And also, like, Marylanders are like we're a little grittier than I think most, right? In a lot of
damn right. I'm not sitting here fucking sipping on a latte. I drink macchiatos. Thank you very much.
All right, okay, all right.
Calm down.
What am I, some kind of poor? Get out of here. I have a dozen eggs every 6 to 7 weeks, like a real man. Yeah, so it's I do have a bit of a soft spot for Maryland Dems, but they do seem to be doing the right things, which is great. That's what you're supposed to do.
And that kind of gets us into like, so what now, right? Like what the fuck can we do? Because basically, like, I saw this on Blue Sky, and and someone made the point that like the founders did not foresee a situation arising where a president was just going to like brazenly disobey the law and basically like stick his thumb in the eye and be like, well, what the fuck are you going to do about it? And somebody made the good point that actually said, actually, no, they did foresee that.
They didn't see
what they didn't foresee is that the Congress and the judicial system would just cede all their power to the president that's doing it. That's the fucking problem here, is that you have people like accomplices essentially in the other branches of government that are allowing this stuff to happen.
So I mean, okay.
Yeah.
Before we get too far into this, because we're super far into this actually, let's take a quick break because I'd like to game out a little bit about what that looks like, what the solutions look like here. So let's take a quick break and come right back. All right. So yes, you have a president or a rogue president. You have accomplices in the judiciary and in the legislative branch. What does, again, I've asked this question every week and I will continue to ask it because I want to keep it in the forefront of people's minds. What do you do if you get power back? Because again, it is not good enough to go back to 2008. It is not good enough to go back to 2000. It's not even good enough to go back to 1998. Right?
I feel like you're jumping too far down the road talking about, hey, when power comes back, like we need to make sure that there's a power structure to gain back.
No. Yes, but no. My point here is, if it can easily be destroyed like this by these accomplices, how do you create a system of co-equal branches that cannot be corrupted by this? That is actually my larger point, right? So I don't know what that answer is. That is people way fucking smarter than me. If I had to maybe some time, I could like really think of like some probably decent ideas. But how in the fuck do you make a situation where it's just like, all right, hey, everybody in the party, let's just branch out, take over these 3 branches, and then we'll just cede all the power. Like, because that's ultimately what has happened. Over like the course of 50 years, they've just kind of manipulated their way into these 3 branches, and then they just stop giving a fuck. Like, how do you stop that? I don't know. Multiple parties, but multiple parties can work together to do that. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. I think it's more than 2 parties, but I don't know what the actual like true blue answer is. Though.
Well, so what I'm more talking about is like, what can Democrats do right now? Because we talked about how like power is limited. You can't truly stop anything from happening. There's a couple things you can do though. First of all, you got to be fucking loud as shit. That's the first thing you have to do. And I'm not talking about like having like your very carefully curated and worded tweets that you put out or this, that, or the other thing. Like, no, like you need to fucking be in front of a microphone and get pissed off. I saw someone else say that Democrats need to find something to believe in as strongly as Republicans believe in MAGA right now, because that's what they're missing, is they don't have anything that we're galvanized around, that we're fucking fighting for. You can't fight and be anti something. We've said it a million times. You have to be for something. You have to find something to fight for. You can't just find something to fight against. That was something like reportedly during like one of the missteps that I would say the Harris campaign is like Tim Walz out here like, hey, like we need to stop talking about like what Donald Trump could possibly do, and we need to start talking about like what we are going to do, like because we can't just be like the anti-Trump
that's fair.
fucking ticket. And True, you can't.
Yeah, no, that's accurate. I am curious though, because you cannot get, if that is the MO, and I think it's a fair thing to push at. You can't be for something that already exists, right? Because clearly those things don't work for people. Americans don't give a fuck about democracy. That's obvious. Making the argument that we're fighting for democracy is not an argument for them. Because I think I don't think that most Americans know what democracy truly is. I don't think.
But you can make that argument. You have to rephrase it, though. You can't say, we need to protect democracy. You have to say, we need to give power back to the people. Because right now it's in the hands. It's in the hands of oligarchs. It's in the hands of billionaires. Right. It's in the hands of all these tech people. Like that. Like the fucking president is a fucking rich asshole who's made his money off his for his entire career, ripping people off. Like that's literally his fucking MO. We need to take the power back, and we need to give the people back the power. That's your fucking message, and that's a pro-democracy message. But it's done in a way that you can actually get people fucking behind it, because you're seeing that populism, like Trump's populism, quote unquote, is bullshit. And more of his voters are waking up. It always has been, but more and more of his voters are waking up to that reality every day now. Trust me, people are seeing what's going on with this right now. Like, even though nothing has changed yet, it's fucking scary to hear that Elon Musk, the world's richest man, is somehow has access to all of this very sensitive data that also involves your health insurance and your social security payments, and if you're a federal employee, your fucking paycheck and things of that nature. Like, that's a fucking terrifying prospect that you didn't sign up for. No, it's not like Donald Trump was on the fucking campaign trail being like, as soon as we get in, I'm going to get Elon Musk in the treasury, and we're going to move the federal banking system onto X, the everything platform, because that's the best place for it to be. Or Elon Musk out here saying we need to move the federal treasury onto the blockchain for some reason, because that's fucking safe, or, something that is a good idea by the way, that was RFK's argument. I don't remember that, right? I do. It was just as dumb then.
Yeah, it's fucking insane
what he said.
Right.
So you can have that has to. I feel like that kind of has to be your message. Is like, we need to take the power away from these rich assholes and give it to the people.
I don't disagree with that. But what my point was that you cannot call it like we're fighting for democracy. That doesn't work. We have been fighting for democracy since fucking 2016. Democracy's on the ballot. And people are like, I don't even know what the fuck that means. I don't know what that means. I know when I vote, I'm not getting, what I thought I should get, right? Like that's basically how people see it. So I like the idea of we need to give power back to the people. Here's the thing. Messenger matters a lot.
That was my next point that I was getting to.
It matters a lot. I'm not trying to hear from Chuck Schumer. I'm not trying to hear from Nancy Pelosi on this shit. Oh, let's give the power back to the people. Bitch, what you talking about? Get the fuck out, both of y'all. Go sit down. I know
the only messenger above the age of 60 who's allowed to talk is Bernie Sanders. That's it. He's the only one. Everyone else, take a seat.
Look. Him, Elizabeth Warren, I'll give you that. That's it. It's just the two of them. That's it. But let's be real. We all know who the messenger fucking needs to be, right? It's clearly AOC. It is undeniable. She should
be out in front.
She has been. In fairness, she has been. She's fucking everywhere, right? She's calling bullshit on Democrats on fucking Jon Stewart's podcast. She is fucking straight up, and I love this. I love it. She is clearly the messenger here. Nobody is making a real argument that AOC is corrupt. No one's making this argument. She's fighting with Nancy Pelosi. People are like, damn, they're still fighting? What the fuck? She fights with any Republicans that dare to fucking pop their fucking heads out of a hole. She will fucking go after them. She will fight with Democrats. She is the messenger. The question is, why is it taking so long for the Democratic Party to realize this? Look, I get it when shit was fucking sweet, right? Okay, it's everybody's fucking Joe Biden's president. We're all rocking and rolling, whatever. This young person, yeah, okay. You get to be on some committees, but pipe down, right? We got it. Now, we're in dire fucking straits. Look, the party's over, baby. You might as well throw it to the fucking young rookie and see if she can get it down the field. Like that's all I'm saying. Like
not even a rookie at this point.
No, not even
The young veteran.
Yeah, the young veteran. So like,
yeah,
she is.
But here's the thing: it requires you.
She's clearly.
It requires you to fundamentally change how you operate as a party. It requires you to put egos aside. It requires you to not like, well, tenure matters, so we got to make sure like the next man up gets their chance at the plate. Like, no, like we don't have time for this shit right now. And look, on step one of that, they already fucking fell down. Like the DNC had their internal like elections, and they voted for fucking this guy Ken Martin, who's your typical like fucking establishment, long time in the party guy, to be the DNC chair. That fucking sucks. Not the guy we need. However, what's interesting is that
David Hogue,
two of the vice chairs, David Hogue, Parkland shooting survivor, who's been an activist since that happened, is a vice chair of the DNC, and Malcolm Kenyatta, who I want to say ran against Fetterman in the primary for the Senate seat back when he ran. And made a fucking name for himself. He was in Pennsylvania state government for a little bit. Is also a vice chair. He's a very exciting speaker. So like, if Ken Martin wants to like pump the levers and raise the money and all that shit, and be that guy behind the scenes, and he can be effective doing that, go for it. But let those two guys be the fucking mouthpieces for the DNC piece of it, to get people excited, to get people to come out, because that will change the tenor and the tone. Like basically, as we have you and I have been saying for years, we need a generational shift.
You do
in the Democratic Party.
You do.
We just do a change of leadership, and you have to have the right leaders. Like Cory Booker is a young guy. Cory Booker should not be out front, being the main messenger for the Democratic Party in the Senate.
And I like Cory Booker.
I like him too, but he is not that sort of like soft, like compassionate style that he has is not what we need right now. We need fucking righteous anger to be leading the charge.
I need people to be fired the fuck up when they go. I send my time over to whoever in the House. Like, I just want the camera to just be like, and here's Jasmine Crockett dunking on fucking Republicans for 20 minutes. Like, that's what I want.
She's another good one to get out there.
Like, it's time to stop being nice. It is. It's well past that fucking time. It's time to stop being fucking nice. And I know that's been said a lot, especially by us, but I mean it. Like, what we mean this shit. It is like, oh, let's all play patty cakes. These motherfuckers are like doing legislation like, yeah, let's end Department of Education. Like they've put it up, right? Will it pass? No, fuck no, it won't pass, right? But will they fucking kill the filibuster to do it? Maybe. Like, don't be so surprised if they do, right?
Hey, let them.
I mean, these are the type of assholes that if they knew they were going to lose power, they'd put the filibuster back in, right? Like right beforehand. I mean, they 100%. Yeah. I mean, they do this shit in the states. They strip the governors of their power in Republican states when a Democrat wins, and the second a Republican wins the governorship, oh, the power's back, right? Like, which should be, by the way, illegal. But it's high time we stop the bullshit. Stop the bullshit. Shots in his point of like, hey, guess what? I'm putting a hold on all this shit. Everybody in the Democratic Party should be like, high five, bro. Yeah. We're all
if I'm him, like he's saying like, hey, while this USAID shit's going on, like I'm gonna fucking do this.
All of it, nigga.
The whole time. The whole time.
Yeah, fuck off. I would come in. Then didn't Nancy Mace come in with like the scarlet letter on her fucking shirt or whatever? I'd start coming in my fucking nice suit jacket and shit, wearing a t-shirt under that says blocking for 4 years. Big ass letters. Yeah, what's my answer? Block. No, nothing gets done. Fuck off. Figure another way out. I'm not your friends. Oh, isn't that petty? Yeah, it's petty as shit. Check the back of the shirt. It says I'm petty. Fuck off. Like, who cares? Who cares? And guess what? Your goal isn't just to block shit. Your goal is to save the fucking country. And if it means you got to be a petty asshole, sign the fuck up. That's what you signed up for. That's why we sent you to fucking DC. Be a petty asshole.
Guess what? Republicans are already doing it. They've been doing it for the last fucking 15 years.
Yeah.
It's nothing but giving them a taste of their own medicine. By the way, I just as we were talking, I thought of an interesting I thought of an interesting scenario.
Mm-hmm.
Being as all this crazy shit is happening, and being as though Democrats seem to slowly be finding their spine and are more willing to, and seem to be more willing to take the gloves off slowly but surely.
Right.
If the elections happen, the midterm elections happen next year, and Democrats are going to take over both chambers of Congress, does Trump resign before the new Congress takes effect so that he can avoid getting impeached and possibly
no way he does.
removed from? You don't think so? Okay.
No. It'd be awesome if he did, because I would immediately impeach JD Vance. I don't give a fuck. Done. I would just keep impeaching these fuckers until I got to someone I was okay with. I would impeach them until I got to Chuck Grassley. What you gonna do, Chuck? Huh? I dare you to do something. Your ass will get tossed too. Don't fuck around.
Oh, Chuck Grassley's concerned right now. He's got to save that potash over there right now.
You fucking better. You gotta figure it out, motherfucker. But I like Canada. I bet you do. So no, I would, if Democrats pull off a fucking blue wave and get these guys the fuck out of there. Dude, I'm impeaching on day fucking one. Day one.
Oh, undoubtedly. Undoubtedly. They're making the case for you right now. You could start writing the articles today and just
look again. I talked about this a couple months ago, or maybe a couple weeks ago. There needs to be a part of the Democratic Party. This is the fucking X-Force team. Your whole goal is to be writing shit while you wait. And the second those Dems get into power, you start fucking dropping that shit, just like these guys are. You think they just waited on day one to start jotting this shit down? Fuck no. They got a team of people writing all the time when Biden was already president. They were ready on day one to start fucking going. That's what you need to do. You don't need to get in and be like, where are the fires? What do we do? No, it's like, where are the fires? All right, cool. Bet. Boom, 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 boom. Here are 6 or 7 things. Day one. Fucking, if Democrats get the Senate and the House, impeach that motherfucker on day one. I'm going to stay in office. Not this week, homeboy. You're fucking out of here. Take Marine One, do your fucking peace sign, and get the fuck out of here. Like, you're gone. You're gone. They've already impeached this guy twice. Convict him. Convict him. Be done.
Well, unfortunately, that's going to require Republicans to jump on board. So,
all right. Well, guess
but again,
what?
if he keeps doing insane shit, like there's going to come there will come a breaking point again, especially if you start fucking with people's money.
Yes,
that's going to be a problem.
Look, here's a quick solution. Oh, Republicans will never vote for you. Hey, look, they won't vote for conviction. Yeah, you're probably right. You're probably right. You know what you do? You know what power you do have when you run the Senate and the House? Strip these motherfuckers off of every committee. All of them. Oh, that's unfair. It's really mean. I know. I know. That's what you do. You know how mad they got when they removed Marjorie Taylor Greene off of committees? And she's a piece of shit. Like, they were like, well, Democrats are like, deal with it. And Republicans are like, well, we're not going to deal with it. And they were like, all right, fuck, we'll deal with it. Strip these motherfuckers off. Any of these guys who supported Jan 6, gone. You're off of committees. Pick another reason. I don't know. It's fucking Wednesday. You're gone. Oh, well, we didn't have a chance to debate. Tell it to your fucking mother. I don't give a shit. We're rolling. That's it. Stop being nice. Stop being nice. Start passing laws. I'd kill the filibuster day fucking one. Chuck Schumer, you don't want to do it. You need to go. Day one, filibuster's gone. Guess what's happening fucking now? Everything that you want, everything Donald Trump or JD Vance want, none of it's happening. Oh, did a Supreme Court justice die? Guess what, motherfucker? Don't bother putting anybody up, because that seat is going to sit there until you die. And I wouldn't even make some fucking horseshit reason about it. Yeah, you stole Supreme Court justices.
You stole
guess
2.
What? You sold 2. Guess what? We about to get our 2 back. So we're just going to wait on it. But that's not fair. The media says it's not fair. Suck your mother. I don't give a shit. I don't care, dude. Put me up there. I'll say the shit. You don't want to say it? I'll say it. Cut to me. I'm not a federal employee. Elon Musk isn't either. You can just send me in. It's fine. I'll do the fucking TV appearances. Stop being nice. Your job is to save the fucking country. Your job is not to placate a bunch of assholes sitting across the aisle from you. That's not your job. Oh, but you know, back when Tip O'Neill was here, we were all fucking friends. Well, it's 2025, motherfucker, and the country is on fire. The country is on fire. You had the Night of Long Knives last week. You had it last week. And nobody really talked about it. They're like, well, I don't know, it's probably pretty bad. It happened last week. What's next? Like, come on, man, get the fuck out of here.
Yeah, isn't it weird that all the inspector generals get fired and then all of a sudden people are storming the treasury?
Yeah, how about
that? It's almost like those two things are connected. So
weird.
How strange.
There's no way to really know. There's really no way to know.
So yeah.
Yeah. All right. So let's move on from there. Look, this is a story that a lot of people are not aware of, and it really, really fucking matters. Okay. There are House races coming up April 1st. 3 of them that would give the Dems back the House. That's a big fucking deal.
It would actually not give the Dems back the House, but it would make it
I thought they'd get the House.
No, they wouldn't get it, but it would make it a 1-seat majority, which effectively is 50-50 for all intents and purposes.
No, but hold on a second, because I thought there was another person who was just about to step out as well.
So Republicans if you took the election results as they were, right? Republicans currently have 219 to Democrats 214, I want to say is the number, if I'm not mistaken. So the Republicans have 2 Florida Congress people that are not in there anymore because they were tapped to be in the administration, and Matt Gaetz, who was going to be Attorney General until he wasn't. So that takes it down to 217, 214. And Elise Stefanik is expected to resign to become the UN ambassador, which takes it down to 216, 214. So actually, yeah, I guess you're right then. If Democrats do manage to run the table, then yeah, they would have a 1-seat majority. So
yeah, 218 to 217. So this is a big fucking deal, and I know. Mm-hmm. I already know what's going to happen, not from people listening to the show because you guys have brains at work, but I already know what the argument's going to be. Why do I need to vote? Voting doesn't work both sides. Blah, blah. This should not be a fucking argument anymore. You're looking at what's happening. Do you still think it's both sides? Was this how it felt under the Biden administration? Oh my God, are we going to die? Yes, maybe.
Yeah.
Right? No, it didn't fucking feel like that. You know why?
Because was Kamala Harris going to let Israel start using 2,000-pound bombs again?
No.
Was Kamala Harris going to tell, hey, maybe Jordan and Egypt should take all the Palestinians so that Israel can move into Gaza?
Yeah. Yes, I can imagine Kamala Harris on day one. Guys, if we could just do some ethnic cleansing, that'd be great. Come on.
And for people that are be like, oh, these are going to be tough seats. Yes, they will be tough seats. Absolutely. But here's some potential inspiring news. Couple weeks ago, actually last week, there was a Iowa congressional seat in Iowa, it's like a state seat that was up in a district that Trump won in November by 21 points. So a firmly red district, and a Democrat flipped that seat by like 5 points. so like a 26-point flip.
That's a big deal.
Just in the couple of weeks since Trump has taken over in the White House. So it's not impossible. It's not likely, but it's also not impossible. Because again, special elections tend to favor Democrats right now because only the people that are kind of keyed into politics are the ones that come out for that shit.
Yeah. And not only that, people are pissed. People are super fucking pissed. So, so there are 3 races, as Brad mentioned. Florida's 1st congressional district is on April 1st. Florida's 6th congressional district is also on April 1st. And New York's 21st congressional district, yet to be scheduled. That's the
because Stefanik hasn't resigned the seat yet. So
it would be interesting if she was like, I'm not going to leave now because we.
I mean, she's already set for her committee hearing. So
too late, sweetheart. Look, you want to stay a little House member, or you want to go to the UN? Come on. Of course, you want to go to the UN and embarrass the country, please, by all means.
I mean, she got passed over for speaker, so I guess there's really nothing left in the House for her to do. So
there isn't. There really isn't. I mean, she's a woman. I mean, the Republicans aren't. They're not going to support you. It's like the what is it, the head of the AfD in Germany, which is basically the Nazi party. She's like, I'm not a lesbian. I'm just married to another woman. Please let me keep leading the party. And they're like, yeah, no, that seems fine.
Are you serious? That's hilarious.
Yes. Well, there were plenty of gay Nazis back very openly in the late 1930s, and they were like, yeah, we're for the Nazi party. And the Nazi party's like, yeah, that's cool. And we got into power. Yeah, up against the wall. We're gonna murder you now. Like, oh, but I'm sorry, ideology weird.
But I believe the same things as you. Well,
Yeah.
all but one thing, apparently.
Yeah. Bam. Oh shit. My bad.
Isn't
my
that
wife.
weird how the knives always come out for
their own.
for those that are different as soon as power is gained.
Yeah.
So it's almost like towing the party line never saves you.
It doesn't. Keep that in mind, black
I
people.
thought they were going to deport the bad immigrants. I didn't realize they were going to deport the hardworking ones. That doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, we agree. We all agree.
Were you plugging your ears during the run up to the election?
La 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 la. They're not going to deport my wife. Wait. Oh no. Smash cut to 3 weeks later. Yeah, I saw a lovely story about that. Oh, Mr. Trump, please help. They deported my wife. The fuck you calling me for, bro? Like, I literally
I told you
ran
this
on
was going to happen.
Like, what the fuck? It's the Kamala Harris meme. He literally ran on this. Like, why are you surprised? Okay, that's the end of the free portion for this week's episode of Look Forward. Make sure you go to lookforwardshow.com/premium. Sign up for premium content. It's only $5 a month or $50 for the full year.